So I get asked a lot about how I was able to afford a sports car at the age of 17. So I figured today I would make a video about how I was able to pull that off really. And to do that, I had to go back in time a little bit. So if you don't know, I bought a 2015 Subaru BRZ Series Blue when I was a senior in high school. So back in 2016 is when I bought it, almost 2017. So to understand how I bought my Subaru BRZ when I was only 17, we have to flash back to when I first bought my first dirt bike. So a little backstory kinda, I used to race and ride dirt bikes and four-wheelers and stuff. My dad purchased me and my sister a four-wheeler when we were young. Eventually we just kind of grew out of that and I got into dirt bike riding. So back in 2010 is when I bought my second dirt bike. I can't find out when I bought my first one. It was like a Yamaha TTR 90, I think it was, something like that. So if I had to guess, it was like 2008, 2009. I have notes to try to remind me because it's been a while. So in 2010, I bought a CRF 100 off my friend. I had that for about a year and a half, and then the engine blew up due to some issues. That was my fault. I've learned now. So then go forward a little bit more. I was still racing dirt bikes. I was still young. I couldn't drive yet. May of 2012, I bought a KX 100 two-stroke Kawasaki. That was a really nice bike. I like that. Monster Energy Edition. And I had that for about a year, and then I just kept growing. And the year after that, I bought a 2013 KTM 250 four-stroke. I forget what their acronym is for it, like a CRF or whatever it is. But so in 2013, I purchased the KTM. I had that till probably 2014, the summer right before 2015, the summer before I got my license. So I had driver's ed in June and July of 2015. So now I'm 16 years old at this point. In like mid to end of July 2015, I bought a 2013 Ford Focus SE. Now, how I got the money for that car at the time, because it didn't have many miles on it, it was a fairly newer car. It was only 2 years old, pretty cheap car though. I had my dirt bikes obviously, and I'd sell one dirt bike to get the other one and kind of work in between doing side jobs for my dad or something to get the money for the next bike, and then I do the exact same thing for the next bike because it got more expensive. So I sold my KTM for, I don't forget how much it was, but a couple $1,000. It was in pretty good shape, a newer bike. And then I got my car, and between that time I was able to work a job. I worked at a farm stand when I was like 15 and a half. My mom would drive me there on her way she's a teacher and she'd tutor, so like on her way there, and she'd pick me up, or I'd take her car because I'd had my license for a little bit before I bought a car, and because she had the summers off, I was able to use her car. So 2015 July, I got a 2013 Ford Focus SE. Pretty good car, and I had that car for until 2016 when I got the BRZ. So at the time, it was summertime. When I went back to school, I couldn't work at the farm stand. So to be able to make money, I started getting into the mechanics field. I was in automotive technology right now at the time, a class that I was able to take in high school. And at that time, I was able to get a job at a tire shop. So now that was like August, September-ish, when I started working at this tire shop. And I thought it was just going to be like a part-time thing, one or 2 days a week, a couple hours a day. But it actually turned into working Monday through Saturday, and I was working stupid hours. I mean, over what the legal limit was at the time, and I made some underneath the table deals to get like paid on the side for some things. And I worked my way up in this tire shop to learn everything I could, whether it was alignments, whether it was how the front was made or how the front was ran, to the sales department, to everything. And I became pretty good at changing tires and doing new wheels. And I started meeting some more car people through that. Obviously, they wanted someone that wasn't going to scratch their wheels. They knew that I could do it, so I was the guy for the job. So I worked there from September throughout the school year, so September to June. In June, there was some complicated issues with how much I was getting paid and stuff, and I just wanted a new experience. So I got a job offer at a dealership. The dealership did not have a good reputation at all. There's actually complications about how people were trying to make it so I couldn't get that job. That's a whole nother story. But I worked at the dealership from June to like August, the summer. And then I went back to the tire shop because it was under new management now. And now that it was under new management, I was able to work with them more. I get paid more, better. And it was better. The experience was better now. So now we're in the winter of 2016 at this time. I was working at the tire shop. I'd seen some cars. I was looking at buying a Dodge Charger at the time because the dealership I worked at was a Dodge dealership. And I just was patient, just kind of kept working. And one day a guy showed up in his BRZ that he owned. He was a transfer from another one of these stores, another one of the tire shops. And I didn't know that he owned this car. I didn't know much about it. I didn't really know anything. And me and him got along really well. He was very particular about his cars. I was super picky about the work I did. So we just got along very well. I ended up doing most of the work to that car before I even bought it. And I actually bought it from a coworker of mine. He wanted a Ford Raptor because he wanted a truck. I wanted a sports car. So, at the time I was still feeling it out. It was a special edition car, one of 500 made in blue with that body trim and stuff, very slight stuff. If you know BRZs, you know what a Series Blue is. And the car didn't have many miles on it, like 23,000, 24,000 roughly, so it was still new, still broken in. He took great care of it. He had me take great care of it. Very minor stuff. The wheels, I think, had a little curb rash on them, but I plan on changing them out. I wanted to wide body it and everything and go crazy and LS swap it, which I never ended up doing. But so now to getting to where I can buy the car. So I still had my Ford Focus at this time. I had it for about a little over a year, I think now. And I loved the car, put some miles on it. I think it was right around 50,000 miles. And I needed to sell that car before I could buy the BRZ. But I couldn't be without a car because I needed to work. I was working every day, every week, except Sunday. So a coworker of mine wanted to upgrade from his old car. And I said, well, I'm looking into selling my Ford Focus. This is the price I'd want for it and blah, blah. And I had some money saved up at this time. Obviously, from working so much, I was doing pretty good. Loud backfire of a car. So now at this time, I ended up selling him my Ford Focus and buying the BRZ all in 20 minutes. We went to the bank, we got it all done. Now, the bank's the story. So, in order for me to get this car, I had no credit. I had no credit cards. I was so young, no one would give me a credit card. I didn't have any credit. So, in order for me to get a loan, I had to ask my mother for help. So, yes, my mother did help me with this. She put the loan under her name, but we made a bank account that my money would go into with her name attached to it so that it would be pulled out of that account. We also got a pretty good deal on interest rate, smoking deal actually, because her credit was so great, which helped me be able to buy this car. And I put about half the price of the BRZ down. So I think I bought it for around $20,000. So I put like $10,000 down with the sale of my Ford Focus and the money I had saved up. And that was enough money to still have a little savings because I like to be cautious. So they didn't really deny me because I obviously just bought half the car straight out, which is more than anyone really does. Half the people don't want to put a payment down or put a big down payment down, and I'm putting these huge down payments down. So I was able to get the car at the age of 17. I was, a senior in high school. I was young. I wanted a sports car. So I'm still young now, but I was younger then, obviously, being 17. And I was just working like crazy. Working 40 plus hours a week while in high school, still trying to pass classes. It was hard, but manageable. And I had that BRZ for exactly a year to the date, and then I bought the Mustang. The stuff I did to the BRZ was wheels and tires. I got some TSW Mechanica wheels they weren't bigger, they were still 18s, but they were wider because I was running a 245 tire on that car. I put a Rocket Bunny V1 wing on it. I think it's the V1 or V2 kit with the big wing on it, but I didn't want to wide body the car because it was a special edition. I kind of felt bad ruining it, or not ruining it, but adding a body kit when it already had little body parts on it that made it special in the first place. That's kind of what stopped me. But yeah, that's how I was able to afford a sports car at the age of 17. Obviously now I bought my Mustang when I was at the age of 18 still. 18 when I bought this? Yeah. And I bought this when I was 18. 16, 17, 18, I've always had new cars. Now I'm 20. I've still had this car since then. What the next car is going to be, I don't know. Maybe, a drift car. I've always wanted to, get into that. We'll have to see where, stuff takes me, what job opportunities, or what, if I make more, if I sell this car. I won't sell this car. But we'll have to see what's going on. But that's the story about how I was able to buy a car at the age of 17. Thanks for watching. If you feel the need to subscribe, feel free. Hit the like button. Let me know if you were a young kid that bought a sweet car. I'd love to see what you got too. Thank you for watching, and see you next time.